You think lifting heavier automatically builds bigger muscles, but that is incomplete. Most people train hard, yet completely misunderstand what actually drives muscle growth. And this misunderstanding quietly limits your size, strength, and long-term progress. Stick with me, because the real mechanism will surprise you. We are going deeper than reps and sets into real muscle physiology. Because once you understand this, your training decisions start making sense. Now here is something most people never even consider about muscles. Your body actually has 3 completely different types of muscle tissue. And no, I am not talking about fast twitch or slow twitch fibers. We are talking smooth, cardiac, and skeletal muscle tissue. Each one contracts, but behaves very differently when it comes to growth. And this is where things start getting interesting for your training. Smooth muscle lives inside your organs, quietly doing its job all day. You never flex it, yet it keeps you alive without complaints. Imagine needing to consciously digest food after every meal. Absolute chaos. Yeah, your abs are not built for that level of responsibility. But here is what most people never realize about smooth muscle. It can grow by increasing both cell size and cell number. That means hyperplasia and hypertrophy both contribute to its growth. Now stay with me, because this difference matters more than you think. Cardiac muscle is next, and it only exists inside your heart. It contracts rhythmically without you ever consciously controlling each beat. Try controlling it directly, and you will realize quickly you cannot. Your heart does not take instructions like your biceps during curls. And here comes a critical difference most lifters never learn. Cardiac muscle cells cannot divide to create new cells. So when they grow, they only grow by getting larger. Now pause for a second, because this applies directly to you. Skeletal muscle behaves the same way when it comes to growth. And yes, this is the muscle you are trying to build. Skeletal muscle attaches to bones and creates movement you can control. It is what you train every time you step into the gym. But here's the part most people completely get wrong. Your muscles do not grow by adding tons of new muscle cells. They grow because the existing cells get bigger and more powerful. That process is called hypertrophy, and it is your main goal. Now this is where things go wrong for many lifters. They chase random workouts without understanding what stimulates hypertrophy. And their progress stalls, while they blame genetics or bad luck. If that sounds familiar, you are closer than you think. Because your effort is there, but your strategy needs adjustment. And I respect that you are trying. Most people never even start. Now let me show you what is actually happening inside the muscle. Inside each muscle cell are tiny contractile units producing force. These structures multiply and thicken when you train properly. That is what physically makes the muscle fiber larger over time. But here is what most people never realize about that process. It requires consistent tension, not just random heavy lifting attempts. Yeah, throwing weight around is impressive, but your muscles disagree. They respond to controlled force, not ego-driven chaos. Now here is the part most people ignore completely. Training for strength and training for size are not identical goals. They overlap, but they emphasize different physiological adaptations. Strength training focuses heavily on neural efficiency and coordination. Your nervous system becomes better at recruiting muscle fibers quickly. That is why some smaller lifters can still move serious weight. Meanwhile, hypertrophy training focuses more on muscle fiber expansion. Higher volume and moderate loads create longer tension exposure. And yes, this burns more. Your muscles are not being dramatic. That discomfort is part of the growth stimulus you need. But here is where things get even more interesting. Not all muscle size increases come from contractile protein growth. Some of it comes from increased fluid inside the muscle cell. This is called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, and it changes appearance. The muscle looks bigger, but strength gains may not match perfectly. So yes, bigger does not always mean proportionally stronger. Now think about bodybuilders versus powerlifters for a moment. Both are strong, but their physiques and training styles differ significantly. And this difference comes from how they stimulate their muscles. This is where your training choices start shaping your outcome. Now here is the part that changes everything for you. You need to match your training style to your primary goal. If you want size, prioritize volume, control, and consistent tension. If you want strength, prioritize intensity and neural efficiency. Trying to do everything at once slows your progress in both. Yeah, your program looked intense, but your results say otherwise. Now let me bring this all together for you clearly. Muscle growth comes from hypertrophy, not creating brand new fibers. Hypertrophy comes from repeated, controlled, forceful muscle contractions. Training style determines whether size or strength dominates your adaptation. And your nervous system plays a bigger role than you think. Now here's your practical takeaway moving forward. Train with intention, not just intensity or random effort. Control your reps, feel the muscle, and respect proper progression. Because your body is not broken, your strategy just needed refinement. And now you understand what is actually happening under the surface. That knowledge alone puts you ahead of most people in the gym. Now here's one final thing I want you to remember. Consistency beats complexity every single time when building muscle. And yes, even the simple plan works when executed correctly. So stop overthinking and start training with better understanding. Your future physique depends on what you apply, not what you know. And now you know exactly what most people never learn. That puts you in control of your results from this point forward. If this helped you see training differently, keep applying these principles. Because real progress comes from understanding, not guessing in the gym. And honestly, your muscles will thank you for training smarter. Even if they complain during every painful last rep. That is just growth talking, not a reason to quit. Gravity Warrior, thanks you for training with purpose today.